Commander Lysithea Orloff scanned the dark corridor ahead, her pulse steady despite the looming threat. The Vashuer had attacked 3 human colonies in the past month, always emerging from darkness, using their natural ability to blend with shadows. Intel suggested they believed humans were primitive creatures who feared the dark, easy prey. How wrong they were. Echo Team, status report. Lysithea whispered into her comms. All in position, Commander. Lieutenant Tariq Nasser replied. Heat signatures show 5 hostiles moving through the lower decks. They are hunting. The abandoned space station Epsilon 9 had become their battlefield, a maze of dark corridors and maintenance shafts perfect for an ambush. Not their ambush, hers. Earth's first contact with the Vashuer had been brutal. The aliens regarded humans as weak, technologically advanced, but fundamentally primitive. They attacked without warning, emerging from shadows to slaughter colonists, leaving no survivors. Their biology allowed them to bend light around their exoskeletons, becoming nearly invisible in low-light conditions. Vashuer are shadow hunters, Admiral Renner had explained during the mission briefing. They evolved on a world with 3 suns. Darkness was rare, dangerous. They adapted to become masters of it. The irony wasn't lost on Lysithea. Humans had evolved on a world shrouded in darkness half the time. Their ancestors had huddled around fires, yes, but they had also learned to hunt in darkness, to become predators themselves. Movement at Section 4. Lieutenant Nasser's voice crackled in her ear. 3 hostiles approaching your position. Lysithea touched the neural interface at her temple, activating her augmented vision. The corridor ahead transformed, shadows revealing their secrets. Her team had developed the tech after the first Vashuer raid, adapting human night vision to counter alien camouflage. Riven, Ekaterina, flank positions, she ordered. Maddox, prepare sonic disruptors. Lieutenant Maddox Ilenga, the team's tech specialist, activated the devices they'd planted throughout the station. The Vashuer relied on echolocation in darkness, another evolutionary adaptation. The disruptors would disorient them, make them vulnerable. A slight movement caught Lysithea's attention, a shadow shifting against the wall. To untrained eyes, it might have appeared as nothing more than a flicker of the emergency lights. But Lysithea saw the true shape, a Vashuer scout, moving stealthily toward what it thought was unsuspecting prey. The creature moved with terrifying grace, over 2 meters tall, with multiple limbs folded against its body. Its exoskeleton rippled with darkness, absorbing light. It believed itself invisible, the perfect predator. It was wrong. Remember, Lysithea said to her team, they've never been hunted before. They don't know how to be prey. The Vashuer had attacked humanity, believing they were facing creatures afraid of the dark, descendants of prey animals who cowered from shadows. They hadn't understood that humans had long ago conquered their fear of darkness, that Earth's predators had learned to hunt at night. The alien moved closer, unaware it was being watched. Lysithea readied her pulse rifle, designed specifically to penetrate the Vashuer's light-bending exoskeleton. Her augmented vision highlighted the creature's vulnerable points, the neural clusters at the base of its spine, the breathing organs along its flanks. On my mark, she whispered. The Vashuer paused, suddenly alert. Perhaps it sensed something was wrong, that the shadows it trusted had betrayed it. Now, the station's lights went out completely. For a moment, perfect darkness enveloped them all. And then humanity began to hunt. The Vashuer scout recoiled as the lights died, its echolocation suddenly jammed by the sonic disruptors. For the first time in centuries of evolution, the creature felt what its ancestors must have known, the primal fear of being hunted. Lysithea moved swiftly, her augmented vision tracking the alien's heat signature. The Vashuer's confusion was evident in its erratic movements. It had never encountered prey that fought back in darkness. Target acquired, she whispered, firing her pulse rifle. The shot struck with precision, hitting the neural cluster at the base of the creature's spine. The Vashuer's camouflage faltered, light-bending properties disrupted as it screeched, a high-pitched sound that echoed through the station. One down, Lysithea reported. remaining hostiles responding to distress call. Across the station, similar scenes unfolded as Echo Team engaged their targets. The Vashuer's coordinated hunting pattern dissolved into chaos. These aliens had evolved as apex predators, never developing the instincts of prey. They didn't know how to retreat, how to hide from something hunting them. Lieutenant Ryvan Oberon's voice crackled over the comms. "Commander, they're converging on Deck 3. I count at least 12 signatures now." More than expected. The Vashuer were calling reinforcements. "They're adapting," Lysithea observed. Typical pack hunter response. Gather the group when threatened. She moved through the darkness with practiced ease, the station's layout memorized during mission prep. Earth's military had learned quickly after the first attacks. While civilians still feared the Vashuer, special forces like Echo Team had been training for this moment. On Deck 3, Lysithea found her team engaged in a firefight. The Vashuer had abandoned stealth, now attacking with savage desperation. Their leader, larger than the others with distinctive markings on its exoskeleton, directed the assault. "Maddox, status on the trap?" Lysithea asked, taking cover behind a bulkhead. 90 seconds, Commander," the lieutenant replied. "Gravity plating is almost reconfigured." The plan was elegant in its simplicity. The Vashuer's dense exoskeletons, evolved for their high-gravity homeworld, would become a weakness in altered gravity conditions. "Ekaterina, draw them toward Section 6, Lysithea ordered. Lieutenant Ekaterina Volkov nodded, firing a series of shots before retreating down the corridor. 3 Vashuer followed, their instincts compelling them to pursue fleeing prey. As the aliens entered Section 6, Maddox activated the trap. Gravity plating reversed polarity, suddenly multiplying the effective weight of everything in the chamber. The Vashuer collapsed, their exoskeletons now crushing them under their own mass. "Trap sprung," Maddox reported. 4 hostiles neutralized. The Vashuer leader chittered something to its remaining followers, a sound Lysithea's translator interpreted as a mixture of rage and disbelief. These humans weren't behaving like prey. They were fighting back with tactics and technology specifically designed to counter Vashuer advantages. "They're retreating to the cargo bay," Tarek reported. "Looks like they're trying to reach their ship." Lysithea checked her tactical display. "Not retreating, regrouping. They're gathering all remaining forces." The Vashuer leader was adapting, learning. But it was still thinking like a predator, not understanding that it had become prey. "Let's finish this," Lysithea said. "Converge on the cargo bay. Protocol Umbra." Protocol Umbra, named for Earth's shadow cast by the sun, was their final strategy. As Echo Team moved toward the cargo bay, Lysithea felt a strange sense of symmetry. Humanity's oldest fear had become their greatest weapon. They had embraced the darkness that had once terrified their ancestors. The cargo bay doors loomed ahead. Beyond them waited the remaining Vashuer, preparing their counterattack. They would expect humans to flood the chamber with light, to banish the shadows they thought humans feared. Lysithea gave the order, "Initiate Protocol Umbra," and the station went completely dark. Admiral Darius Quintrell stared at the tactical display as reports from Epsilon 9 filtered in. Echo Team's mission had implications far beyond a single encounter. It was the first time humans had deliberately turned the Vashuer's strengths against them. "Sir, we've decoded more of their communication," reported Intelligence Officer Thula Okoro. "The Vashuer refer to humans as light dwellers. They believe our species evolved to fear darkness, that we're fundamentally vulnerable without technology." "A reasonable assumption," the Admiral conceded, "if you don't know our history. Humanity's evolutionary journey had been unique. Unlike the Vashuer, who evolved on a world with 3 suns where darkness was rare, humans had adapted to a planet with regular cycles of light and dark. Early humans hadn't just cowered from nightfall. They had learned to use it, to become nocturnal hunters when necessary." Update from Commander Orlov, announced Communications Officer Priya Loxonen. Protocol Umbra initiated. 9 confirmed Vashuer casualties. 4 remaining, including what appears to be their leader. On Epsilon 9, the battle had entered its final phase. The cargo bay, now pitch black, had become a hunting ground. Echo Team moved silently, using their augmented vision and years of training in darkness. The Vashur, for all their natural adaptations, had never faced opponents who could match them in their element. Lysithea tracked the Vashur leader, who was emitting distress signals on frequencies their intelligence had identified. The alien commander was calling for reinforcements, unable to comprehend how its hunting party had been decimated so quickly. Closing in on primary target, Lysithea whispered, "Team status." Each member of Echo reported their positions. They had effectively surrounded the remaining Vashur, cutting off escape routes. The aliens were now clustered defensively, backs together, a primal response to being hunted. The Vashur leader suddenly ceased its distress calls. In the complete darkness, Lysithea watched through her augmented vision as the alien straightened to its full height. It seemed to be looking directly at her position, despite her stealth systems. It was learning, adapting to being prey. "It knows we're here," Lysithea warned her team. "Prepare for." The Vashur attacked with explosive speed, leaping toward Lysithea's position. Its reflexes were incredible, evolution honed to perfection. But Lysithea had something equally powerful, the collective knowledge of humanity's long history of warfare. She sidestepped the creature's initial attack, firing 3 targeted bursts as she moved. The Vashur's exoskeleton absorbed the first 2 shots, but the third found its mark in the neural cluster. The alien staggered, but didn't fall. "They're getting smarter," Maddox observed, engaging another Vashur, adapting their movements to protect vulnerable areas. Lysithea's tactical display showed the remaining Vashur forming a new pattern, more defensive than before. They were still dangerous, but their behavior had shifted fundamentally. For perhaps the first time in their species' history, they were fighting not as predators, but as cornered prey. Admiral Lysithea reported, "We're seeing behavioral adaptation in real time. Request permission to attempt communication." Back at command, Admiral Quintrell considered the implications. Their mission objective had been to neutralize the Vashur threat, but a deeper understanding of the aliens could prove invaluable. "Proceed with caution, Commander," he authorized. "But be prepared to terminate if necessary." Lysithea approached the Vashur leader, her weapon ready but not raised. The alien watched her warily, its posture defensive rather than aggressive. Using the translation matrix developed from previous encounters, Lysithea broadcast a simple message. "We do not fear the dark. We were born in it." The Vashur leader's response came as a series of clicks and chittering sounds, translated roughly as, "Impossible. Your kind cowers from shadows." "No," Lysithea replied. "We learned to hunt in them." Something shifted in the alien's posture, recognition, perhaps, or understanding. For species separated by light years and evolutionary paths, this moment represented something profound. The realization that assumptions about the other had been fundamentally wrong. The Vashur leader made a gesture toward its remaining warriors. They lowered their weapons, though remained alert. "You are not prey." The translation matrix rendered its communication. "What are you?" Lysithea's answer was simple. "We are human." 3 months after the Epsilon 9 mission, Lysithea stood before the United Earth Council, her formal uniform uncomfortable after weeks in tactical gear. Admiral Quintrell had just finished presenting the strategic implications of what had become known as the Shadow Doctrine, humanity's new approach to the Vashur threat. "Commander Orloff," Council President Motto addressed her, "your team's actions have fundamentally altered our understanding of the Vashur. Would you share your personal assessment?" Lysithea approached the podium, aware of the weight of the moment. The chamber's lighting was deliberately set to moderate levels, a symbolic gesture acknowledging their new relationship with darkness. "The Vashur misunderstood us fundamentally," she began. "They evolved on a world where darkness was rare and dangerous. Their civilization developed around the constant light of 3 suns. Darkness to them was something to be mastered and exploited, a weapon against less adapted species." She activated the holographic display, showing comparative evolutionary timelines. Humans evolved on a world divided equally between light and darkness. We are children of twilight, neither creatures of pure day nor pure night. The Vashuer couldn't conceive of this balance. Images from Epsilon 9 appeared, the moment when the Vashuer leader had finally understood what it was facing. They attacked us, believing we were defenseless in darkness. They didn't understand that humans have always had a complex relationship with night. We feared it, yes, but we also embraced it, used it, became part of it. President Motto leaned forward. And now, how do they see us? With respect, Lysithea answered. And caution. The diplomatic team reports that the Vashuer hierarchy has requested formal negotiations. They've withdrawn from contested systems and established a communication channel. It had been an expensive lesson for both species. The Vashuer had lost hunting parties on 3 worlds before Epsilon. 9 demonstrated conclusively that humans were not the easy prey they had anticipated. Humanity had lost colonies and lived in fear, but had emerged with a new understanding of their own strengths. The xenobiologists believe we may have been the first species the Vashuer encountered who evolved with regular darkness, Lysithea continued. Their previous conquests were all worlds with multiple suns or species that had evolved primarily diurnal behaviors. The implications were profound. Humanity's supposed weakness, their evolution on a world half-shrouded in darkness, had proven to be their salvation. The night terrors of ancient humans had forced adaptations that, millennia later, saved their descendants among the stars. We've received a formal communication from the Vashuer hierarchy, Admiral Quintrell added. Their term for humans translates roughly as those who hunt in darkness, a title apparently reserved for worthy adversaries. President Motto nodded slowly. And your recommendation, Commander? Lysithea considered carefully before answering. The Vashuer were still dangerous, still predators by nature and culture. But they were also intelligent, adaptable. They understood respect. Proceed with diplomatic engagement, she said finally, but from a position of strength. The Vashuer respect power and adaptation. They attacked because they believed us weak. They seek peace because they now know we are not. As the council session concluded, Lysithea found herself reflecting on humanity's journey. Their ancestors had huddled around fires, telling stories of beasts that lurked in darkness. They had painted cave walls with images of night hunters. They had feared the dark, but they had also learned to use it, to become part of it. Now among the stars, that ancient relationship with darkness had become humanity's unexpected strength. The Vashuer had come hunting creatures they believed feared the shadows, only to discover that humans had long ago conquered that fear, had turned it into a weapon and a shield. Commander, Admiral Quintrell approached as the chamber emptied. The Vashuer ambassador arrives tomorrow. They've requested specifically that you be present. Lysithea nodded. I'll be there, sir. They've also requested something unusual, he added with a slight smile. They want the meeting conducted in low light conditions. A gesture of respect, or perhaps a final test. Either way, Lysithea welcomed it. Humanity had proven itself in darkness, had shown that they were neither creatures of pure light nor beings who feared the shadows. They were children of twilight, evolved in the balance between day and night. And that unique heritage had made them something the galaxy's predators had never encountered before. Hunters who understood both light and darkness, who could move between worlds. As Lysithea left the council chamber, the lights dimmed automatically to conserve energy. She didn't break stride, moving confidently through the shadows. After all, humans had never truly feared the dark. They had mastered it.